You've been told in 100 different ways that your brain creates your reality. Your thoughts shape your world. Your perception is your truth. Change your mind, change your life. It's the foundational assumption underneath modern psychology, neuroscience, and most of the self-help industry, that the brain is the architect of experience, and everything you perceive is a construction happening inside your skull. But there is a quieter, stranger, and far more unsettling possibility sitting underneath that assumption. What if the brain doesn't create reality at all? What if reality, the full, vast, unimaginably complex totality of what actually exists, is already there, completely, prior to any brain? And what if the brain's job is not to generate experience from nothing, but to filter that totality down to the narrow slice a biological organism can process without being overwhelmed into paralysis? This is not a fringe idea. It has been proposed by serious researchers, supported by hard evidence, and explored by philosophers of mind who find the standard story increasingly difficult to defend. And if it's true, it changes everything about how you understand your own limitations, your own perception, and what might be possible beyond the edges of what your filter currently allows through. Part 1. The Reducing Valve. In 1954, philosopher Aldous Huxley proposed an idea in his book, The Doors of Perception, that neuroscience is only now catching up to. He suggested, drawing on philosopher Henri Bergson, that the brain and nervous system function primarily as a reducing valve, not a generator of experience, but a restrictor of it. The function of the brain, on this model, is to take the totality of reality, which Huxley believed to be infinitely richer and more complex than anything the conscious mind normally accesses, and reduce it to a manageable trickle. The survival logic is obvious. An organism flooded with the full complexity of reality at every moment would be unable to act. The brain's job is to produce a simplified, survival-relevant model, stripping away everything that doesn't immediately matter to keeping the body alive and the organism functional in its environment. What you experience as reality is not reality. It is the output of an aggressive editing process, everything irrelevant to immediate survival deleted before it reaches awareness. The question this raises is both fascinating and vertiginous. What is being filtered out? What is present in the full signal that never makes it through the reducing valve? What dimensions of experience, what qualities of reality, what information is being systematically excluded from your consciousness right now? Not because it doesn't exist, but because your brain has determined it isn't useful for getting through the day? Part 2. The Evidence Hiding in Plain Sight. The evidence that the brain filters rather than creates is embedded in phenomena that science has documented but never fully explained within the standard model. Start with the simplest example. Your sensory organs receive vastly more information than you consciously process. The eyes alone transmit approximately 10 million bits of information per second to the brain. Conscious awareness processes roughly 40 bits per second. The gap between what arrives and what reaches awareness is not small. It is almost total. The brain is discarding 99.9996% of incoming visual data before you ever see anything. This is not noise elimination. The eliminated data is real information about the real world. It is being chosen against, filtered out by a system optimizing for a particular kind of utility. Then consider what happens when that filter is temporarily altered. Psychedelic compounds, particularly psilocybin and LSD, work primarily by suppressing the brain's default mode network. the system responsible for maintaining the ordinary sense of self and the ordinary boundaries of perception. What users consistently report is not the addition of something hallucinatory on top of reality. It is the sense that more of reality is suddenly available, that the ordinary world has become vividly, overwhelmingly, almost unbearably present in a way it normally isn't. The same pattern appears in near-death experiences, in certain meditative states, in moments of extreme crisis where ordinary perceptual filtering seems to collapse and reality arrives with an intensity that no normal waking experience approaches. These are not malfunctions. They are glimpses of what the filter normally keeps out. Part 3. What this means for your limitations. Here is where this becomes deeply personal. If the brain is a filter, and that filter has been shaped by evolution, culture, language, and the specific history of your individual life, then what you perceive as the limits of reality are actually the limits of your filter. The things you believe are impossible are not impossible. They are outside what your current filter allows through. The dimensions of experience you believe don't exist are not absent from reality. They are absent from your channel. This reframes limitation in a way that is both humbling and genuinely liberating. When you cannot see a solution to a problem, it is not because the solution doesn't exist. It is because the filter, shaped by your assumptions, your history, your habitual patterns of thought, is not configured to let it through. The solution is in the signal. Your channel isn't wide enough to receive it yet. When you cannot feel a quality of peace or aliveness that others describe, it is not because that quality is inaccessible to you. It is because something in the filter, some layer of conditioning, some chronic contraction, some deeply held belief about what is real and possible, is blocking its transmission. The work of genuine development is not adding more content to the mind. It is widening the channel, removing the accumulated debris from the filter, the unprocessed trauma, the inherited beliefs, the rigid assumptions, so that more of what is actually present can get through. You are not trying to create something new. You are trying to receive more of what is already there. Part 4. How the filter gets built and how it opens. The filter is not fixed. It was constructed, and it can be reconstructed. It was built layer by layer from the earliest moments of life. Every experience that was too overwhelming to integrate got managed by narrowing the channel. Every emotion that wasn't safe to feel got filtered out before it could reach full awareness. Every belief that formed around a painful experience became a template that the filter used to screen subsequent reality, allowing through only what confirmed the template, silently discarding what contradicted it. By adulthood, most people are operating through a filter so dense with accumulated debris that they are receiving a tiny fraction of what is available, and calling that fraction the way things are. The filter opens through exactly the process that feels most threatening to the contracted self. Stillness. Genuine stillness, not distraction wearing the costume of rest, begins to dissolve the noise that maintains the filter's rigidity. In silence, things become perceptible that the ordinary busy mind cannot detect. Perceptions become subtler. The edges of ordinary awareness begin to soften. Honest emotional processing, actually feeling what has been accumulated rather than continuing to manage it, removes the specific blockages that have been narrowing the channel for years. Each piece of unprocessed experience that gets genuinely metabolized creates more space in the filter for reality to move through. And direct inquiry, the practice of looking honestly at what is actually present in experience rather than what the filter says should be there, gradually trains a kind of perception that can operate closer to the raw signal. Not perfectly, not completely, but measurably, palpably closer. The filter never disappears entirely. You are a biological organism and will always need some degree of reduction to function. But the difference between a filter clogged with decades of unprocessed experience and a filter cleaned of its unnecessary debris is the difference between living in a dim, narrow corridor and living in an open field. Same reality, entirely different transmission. Reality is not waiting for your brain to construct it. It is here, completely, already, in its full complexity. Pressing against the edges of the narrow channel your filter currently allows. The vastness is not somewhere else. It is not accessible only to the enlightened or the extraordinary. It is present right now, in this moment, in the room where you are sitting, in the breath moving through your body, in the awareness reading these words. You are not receiving all of it, not even close, but the signal is there. It has always been there. Richer, deeper, and more alive than the filtered version you have been navigating, as if it were the whole story. The question is not whether more is available. The question is what you are willing to remove from the filter to let more of it through. The signal hasn't changed. Only the reception has. If this cracked open something about why your perception might be narrower than reality itself, share it. Someone in your life is living inside a filter they think is the world. This might be the thing that shows them the difference. See you in the next one.